Then we got Oz Cobb, friend of the channel.
And the owner of the gym was kind enough to introduce us. And she was like, no, I don't want to meet him. Ian's tired. We don't want to meet him.
Yeah,
Wait, I don't want to meet him because of what?
Yeah.
Ian was tired.
Yes.
She would tell Ian when he was tired. One time we ended sparring, and afterwards everybody's hanging out, and she walks up to Ian and she goes, "You're hungry."
Yes.
And then so they had to leave because Ian was hungry. So she tells Ian when he was hungry. We're like, what the
Do you
hell?
have any commentary about his potential body odor?
I mean, I say it's true. I smell all the time. It's horrible. A good example is this, because Michael's so nice and he doesn't want to say it, but here's the thing. When we're in fight camp, he does 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, okay?
For the first fight he did. Well,
Yeah,
for
well,
the first part of the first fight, not for the actual camp.
Correct.
During the camp was when he cut out his 2 days. And that was the most important time to be doing 2 days.
Yes, so he would smell so bad that when he comes back in the afternoon to train, he doesn't shower in between his sessions. And so like the coaches that are training other, members there would just like look at us with the weirdest face, like a stink face. And then Michael would try to take Ian to the corner where there's not a lot of members of the gym, so they don't have to smell it.
I tried taking the open doorway.
Yeah, so that does happen. I'm not lying. It's true. He doesn't shower.
I think for the second one, they were scared to put out that Anissa did all this work because it failed so badly. She wasn't even a part of when he did his charity, when he did his charity stream, or not, I won't even call it charity. When he did his fundraiser stream, because it wasn't charity, it was a fundraiser. So when he did his fundraiser stream, I don't even think she was really a part of it. And it was like, a lot of this thing failed because you were the person in charge, but now when Ian has to make up for it, she was nowhere to be found. And he was like doing embarrassing.
You yourself were a child bride?
Yes. So I'm a child bride survivor, and at the age of 12, I was put into a child marriage from the time I was 12 until 23. Within my child marriage, I had 2 kids when I was 15 and 17. And this happened in America. Okay, and Ian and Nisa are well aware of my story because I've had them at my home. They've seen my kids and everything. And so last year, right, 2024, I learned that there was a House bill in Washington State trying to pass House Bill 1455 to end child marriage. And so when I learned of this bill, I thought to myself, even though it had been 15 years since I escaped my prison, like this is a chance for me to come forward and tell my story. I sent, so Michael and I went to Olympia in Washington. We met with politicians. We lobbied to support the bill. I gave my public testimony to support the bill. And, once I was on Seattle Times and television and everything. And I reached out to Ian and Nisa and I asked them if they could help, share the information because it was really important to me that this bill passed. And they just both left me on red. But guess what?
Now, I want to ask you something. It's alleged by Anissa herself that Ian has both bad breath and he shits in his pants frequently. Do you have any data on that, having been in close proximity with him?
No.
So I don't want to just talk shit about him, but like there would be times, for example, before the first event where he was talking about getting tonsil stones. And he was saying he was going to get strep throat because he had tonsil stones. And I said, Ian, tonsil stones don't cause strep throat. Tonsil stones are because you're not brushing your fucking teeth. And so he was like, oh, okay, hygiene. And I'm like, yeah, fool, like you need to brush your teeth. And he's like,
wait, hold on. That shouldn't be something you need to hear from your boxing coach. Brush your teeth. That's something, that's it, knowledge he should have come to you with.
Yeah. He was worried about getting sick. Like, so, yeah.
So we did Create Flash 1 or 2 where Anissa sent us, it was a day of training for one of the CC 1 or 2, I can't remember which one. And she sent us a photo of his tongue. And she said, I think he might have like bad breath and it's causing.
Hold on. Go back. Why did she send you a picture of his tongue?
They thought it would show us that he was going to get strep throat.
Yeah, so he couldn't.
And I'm like, because they were trying to say he's going to get sick before the event. And it can happen if you train too hard before an event. You run your immune system down, so then you can get sick. But we weren't training too hard for him to get sick.
Yeah.
So like they wanted him to gain weight, and I kept telling him, like, there's ways we can gain weight right before weigh-in. So I want you at like a healthy weight because they wanted him to be 188 for the Dr. Mike fight. So the Sunday before the fight, Anissa makes him eat all this shitty food. So the Monday before the fight, he couldn't even do 2 rounds of pads in the ring without almost throwing up. So I'm fucking pissed. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you doing this? I was like, I was telling you, if you're 188 or 180, but you drink like a couple Gatorades, a Gatorade is 32 ounces, which is 2 pounds. I'm like, just drink 2 or 3 Gatorades right before weigh-ins and you'll gain like 4 or 5 pounds and then you'll be 185. But instead she was like, no, he needs to eat all this shitty food. So they were feeding him all bunch of shitty food, right? And that's why when he weighed in with Dr. Mike, he was like grabbing his belly. And I'm like, bro, that's embarrassing for me.
You're making
I'm your fucking coach and you're in there with a belly up there. Like, it's one thing to gain the weight and be like, oh, I gained weight. But it's another thing to be like the day before the fight grabbing your belly. And it's because you fucking ate a bunch of bad food.
Yeah, they would get Denny's all the time. And then he would.
Denny's? Yeah, this is important.
And I was in my mind, I'm like, Ian, you're a fucking millionaire. Why are you eating at Denny's all the time? Like, stop it. And then,
he's allegedly, I've heard, Hila noticed this, and I guess Anissa also confirmed that he is very cheap, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't experience that. Like, he was always good to me, but at the same time, except for the fact he would never help promote me.
Well,
I could
say that I wonder if, like, this is a good example, but, like, for example, when Michael trains Ian, he charges $100 an hour, but Anissa would always want to be trained at the same time, so Michael is training both of them for the $100 an hour, and I would always tell Michael, like, you're training both of them, you should charge each one of them $100 an hour, and Michael would be like, oh, well, it's for a charity event, and I feel bad asking, so let's just do this for now, because we're going to get a bonus one day. He doesn't shower.
Yeah. I just didn't understand why she wouldn't tell him. I'm like, what is going on here?
She tells the audience. She humiliates him
in her Discord.
Yeah.
She's fine releasing everything, but she won't talk to him about it. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, and
like I didn't
Hold
feel
on,
like
guys. I got to sit on that for a sec. He stunk up the gym so bad you had to move him away from people.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just sit with that. Another question. I heard that Anissa was talking shit about me and us even before Creator Clash 1.
Yeah, she had said, like, I forget what she said, like, but she had said that she didn't like associating with you guys for some reason, but then like you had been doing better or something, so they were happy to go on your show. It was it was vague, but she would talk, she would kind of talk poorly about a lot of different people, so it was easy to just lose track of it. But yeah, she definitely had mentioned like something about you and Hila, and like, or maybe it was just you, but somebody had done something that had offended her at one point. So she felt like you guys weren't like good people or something. But then once you could do their show, but she loved AB and Lena. She always loved them. Yeah.
She would. So here's
there
the
you
thing.
go. Who doesn't love AB and Lena?
Because she would be like, they're Muslim and I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
And I was like, everything you do is haram. Like nothing you do is. I have Muslim fighters.
Yes.
They pray 5 times a day. They don't
touch women.
Like,
your wife.
They're a couple of them are from Dagestan, right? And in Dagestan, you're not allowed to shake a woman's hand. Like, but they put their hand on. They're very respectful, right? But it's just a totally different mindset. So then when I hear, and I have other Muslim fighters that maybe don't pray 5 times a day, but they still like they'll try to eat halal when they can. They have like a lot more. They have a different moral compass. So for example, she would always talk about how America is this horrible place. And Americans are like so bad, especially like white Christian male Americans.
Get out of here, dude. What is her problem?
And then, but somehow I'm like, have you ever been to a Muslim country, Anissa? Like, and then obviously she hasn't. So to me, it was just like, there was this big disconnect between reality. So example, before the first or second creator clash, she said, we have 300 creators in the event. And I said, oh, who are they? And she said, it's mostly communists and sex workers. Yeah. And so I was just super confused by that.
She said that?
Yes.
I heard this. Okay, so hold on. They've said before, publicly, she said, it's Twitch streamers and porn stars, right? Is that what she said, AB?
Boxing and sex work.
Because she would be like, they're Muslim and I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
And I was like, everything you do is haram. Like nothing you do is. I have Muslim fighters. Yes. They pray 5 times a day. They don't touch women. Like your wife. They're a couple of them are from Dagestan, right? And in Dagestan, you're not allowed to shake a woman's hand. Like, but they put their hand on. They're very respectful, right? But it's just a totally different mindset. So then when I hear, and I have other Muslim fighters that maybe don't pray 5 times a day, but they still like they'll try to eat halal when they can. They have like a lot more. They have a different moral compass. So for example, she would always talk about how America is this horrible place. And Americans are like so bad, especially like white Christian male Americans.
Get out of here, dude. What is her problem? To learn that she was, talking shit before even that event, and then they come on and act like we have been friends. And it's funny because I did say a comment about how it's funny how they show up when they need something from me, which is for me to promote their fight. And he got all incredulous about that. He's like, "Oh, really? I don't need anything from you, Ethan." And I'm like, well, how's Creator Clash 3 going?
Right. It makes no sense to me because once again, I was a part of all that, and he would never put out training footage. He would barely ever promote it. And so you would actually be like, hey guys, Creator Clash 3, AB's on it. He's training. Lena's training for this.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
So you guys would talk about it way more than he would. Also, he would never put anything
also,
about
I want to say that like after Michael and I came to LA to go on your podcast, right, with Ina and Nisa, I clearly remember that when we came back from that event, I put up the reel of Matt and Ryan, right, working with Michael, and then Ian texted me right away, and he was like, "Hey Kate, just so you know, you shouldn't put out content without confirming with me first, because a lot of YouTubers are actually very sensitive to their image, like me. And so therefore, before you share anything, you need to let me and Anissa's know." And I just thought, okay, so I'm just going to do this kind of work and not never share it? How's the thing?
I'm sure, by the way, I am sure that you said you were training. It was footage of you training with Dad?
No, it was Matt and
Super Mega.
Yeah, Super Mega.
I am
Matt.
sure that none of those people, he didn't mind doing that.
Oh no,
No, he didn't. He actually accepted the collaboration, and it had 200.
Oh, he accepted the collaboration.
Yes.
So it sounds like a win-win, wholesome post.
Yeah.
It should have been. But that was when I realized, I was like, oh, he doesn't want me to get any like clout from this event whatsoever, even though I'm the one putting in work with like
But why is that? Why would he call you and seemingly be like, you shouldn't post, I don't want to see you posting stuff without my permission?
It's just
that had nothing to do with
like,
him,
so,
by the way.
Anissa would always say, because I would want to kind of post some stuff too, and Anissa would be like, yeah, Ian's really private. He doesn't want people to see this part of his life or this stuff. So we were like, oh, so I just respected that. I was like, okay, he's a private guy, so he's not going to.
You know what's funny? He's going to become even more private based on the views on his last video. He's gonna be living a real private life soon.
No, go ahead, go.
Oh, I think that because like I think for the first fight, it could have made a great documentary. But I think for the second one, they were scared to put out that Anissa did all this work because it failed so badly. She wasn't even a part of when he did his charity, when he did his charity stream, or not, I won't even call it charity. When he did his fundraiser stream, because it wasn't charity, it was fundraiser. So when he did his fundraiser stream, I don't even think she was really a part of it. And it was like, a lot of this thing failed because you were the person in charge. But now when Ian has to make up for it, she was nowhere to be found. And he was like doing embarrassing things. As a boxing coach, you don't want to see your client doing those things under those circumstances. You know, it'd be different.
Keep the pride up. Keep the self-respect up.
Literally, because that's on my, and once again, that's what I was telling him. I was like, a lot of what you do reflects my brand. So when he attacked you, all of a sudden, I start getting all these messages on all my stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I getting all this? Like, one, we were getting views again on some of the like old, because I haven't even put anything on YouTube for a long time, and all of a sudden, I had a video of us at the AM of the Creator Clash, and all of a sudden, there's just all these bad comments on it, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I find out, and that's when we find out that he created the drama with you, and that's when we found out all these other things, and that's why we were like, I'm gonna get my side of the story out there because one, I'm not affiliated with him unless like except for training that 10 months the first time and the 4 or 5 months the second time. Otherwise, like we have no affiliation. Yeah. We'd invite him to Thanksgiving dinner. He came once. Like when I went to LA,
Thanksgiving dinner at your house.
I made a turkey for my first time, and it was a special Thanksgiving because
you had turkey for the first time.
Yeah,
what have you been waiting for? Oh, you made it. You made it.
Yeah. So, but what I was saying about that was like, I would invite them out to do stuff and almost never get a response. And then when I was in LA, like I hit up AB and he's like, yeah, let's go out to dinner.
No,
and I'm
AB's
like,
such a good guy.
Yeah. I'm like, so AB's willing to go out to dinner.
But Baby likes you. I think he wanted to spend time with you.
Yeah, but my own fighter didn't. And it broke my heart all the time because like, so there's a coach named like Mike Quick Flores, and he's amazing. And his fighters loved him. They helped him start a damn YouTube channel. They bought him cameras. They helped him start a YouTube channel. They did all this stuff for him. Yeah. And like one of his fighters was like James Odd Ones Out that got knocked out in like freaking 30 seconds. And he still loves training with the coach. So I'm like, how does somebody that get knocked out in 30 seconds have such a close relationship with his coach? And I like went to hell with Ian, and we have no relationship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got punched out of the ring. Ring. That never happens. And I love my boxing coach.
One of the best parts of it for me was one, meeting people like Harley, AB, but also like networking with those coaches, right? Like Harley's coach, Jesse Thompson, is amazing. Like he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing human. He's amazing father.
Yes.
All the coaches that we would work with there, Coach Rick at his gym in Florida, like we love them like they were our Florida family. But then Ian and Anissa would just kind of use them. They didn't even know whose promoter's license we used until like 2 weeks before the second event.
Yes. So I told her while the promoter was there, because that's actually his gym that we're training out of, right? He's a part owner. And so I told Anissa that that's actually Ryan Ricky. He's actually the fight promoter we're using his license to throw the events in Florida, you know? And she was like, oh my gosh, really? How did I miss this the first time around? And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe because you don't care about anybody that doesn't have a huge following. And so right away she went and followed him and then she started tagging him. It's just ridiculous.
Take time to get to know the boxing community.
Yeah.
She acted like she was better than the boxing community.
Yes.
We were in a boxing gym called Top Rank one time. And there was a guy named Jay Prince who was like the manager for Floyd Mayweather, manager for Andre Ward, and all these very high-level boxers. So for me, that's a big deal. And the owner of the gym was kind enough to introduce us. And she was like, no, I don't want to meet him. Ian's tired. We don't want to meet him.
Yeah,
wait, I don't want to meet him because of what?
Yeah.
Ian was tired.
Yes.
She would tell Ian when he was tired. One time we ended sparring. And afterwards, everybody's hanging out, and she walks up to Ian and she goes, "You're hungry."
Yes.
And then so they had to leave because Ian was hungry. So she tells Ian when he was hungry. We're like, "What the hell?"
So is this what
What is
It's
this?
nonsense.
Do you think that he walks around in a gimp suit at their home? No, I'm genuinely wondering. Do you know? Does he just sit there? Does he sit there as a chair in a gimp leather suit, and she just sits on him? I mean, where does this go? By the way, there's some
people are very soft, and so you kind of mostly Ian was the softest, but
is he the softest fighter you've ever trained?
What's that?
Is he the softest fighter you've ever worked with?
Well, he hated boxing.
Yeah, but not only that, every single time we had a session, it would have to follow up with a therapy session with him and Anissa. How frustrating is that? I was depressed after every single creator clash because of all the therapy we always had to imply. Otherwise, it was going to be a shit show.
Would not have allowed Anissa to come into the gym with her attitude or want to change the music at the gym.
Oh, tell me that. One time she came and tried to put on her own music, right?
Yeah, and then we got into it because
they got into a tiff because she wanted to change the music. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So
what song was it?
Oh man, I would have to look it back up because I was actually in shock because some of the songs, even if you like that kind of music, because it was maybe some like indie punk rock music.
It was dark.
But what was just weird, and so not gym music at all. So I was just like, hey, I was trying to tell her that because one of the other coaches was like, hey, I'm gonna change it now because she was playing the music
after
at the
1
gym.
hour.
But she shouldn't have even been on the aux in the first place. Like you shouldn't be at somebody else's gym and then hop on their speaker. That's crazy to me. So she hopped on the speaker, and then one of the coaches was like, hey, I'm gonna take you off now, and she was like, oh, like offended by it, and then I made the mistake of being like, well, that wasn't really gym music, and she was like, he doesn't play gym music, and then I said what was kind of emo, and then she said, what's that?
Hooba stank.
Yeah. She said,
was it Evanescence?
Yeah, she said the other guy plays emo music, and then after that, I said, well, it was kind of like 12-year-old girl emo music. And then
in the right moment, sure, yeah.
It's not fair to all the other gym members that they have to listen to her music. By the way, this is a very big gym. I think it's like how many square feet? 4,000?
4,000.
4,000 to 5,000 square feet, okay? And there's multiple facilities inside this gym. There's a fit bar cafe. There's a physical therapist office inside that gym. The Seawolves also train out of that gym, okay? They used to, but, so other people use this space, and she just wants to control the music. That's so unprofessional. It's not allowed, and it's not fair to the other members.
So she got
we don't allow somebody else to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't allow my other fighters to come in.
No, that's insane. Who the fuck changes the music for the whole ass gym?
And then she threw a fit about it and cried about it, and I had to talk to her about it the next day.
So wait, what happened? Tell me what happened.
So she ended up leaving. We were supposed to actually do her pad session, but then she left.
She cried.
And she had to go out to her car. I mean, I don't want to talk about how her feelings were, but anyway, so she was super offended. So then the next day, what had happened was the next day they came in and they told my wife that they don't know how she could date me because I don't respect women. And so
she doesn't know how.
How did she expect your wife, Kate, to react to that?
I have no idea. It was anti-Semitic, but just. I mean, the way she
I will say that, like, I didn't know about all this stuff that she has against Jewish people, and then once I heard about it, I realized that after I shared with Anissa that Michael's mom is half Jewish and half Italian, like, I noticed that she started, like, keeping him more at bay and not being nice to him. So I think that might have been the start of it.
Did you know? Is that right? So when she learned that Michael had some Jewish ancestry, she distanced herself.
Jewish.
I don't know if it was exactly from that or just
that's how you perceived it.
Because then I'm gonna miss your fight. I would be so stressed out from that, and so it was just like, how are you stressing Ian out about this freaking?
It's all about her.
Yes.
And what I've noticed too is that, like, knowing them for so many years and traveling with them and being with them all the time, I realized that it's something that she does. She has this way of always sabotaging every single moment before who's about to have a big moment. You know what I mean?
Makes it about her.
Correct. Like, for example, for CC1, she came to the gym and she was like, oh, our lease is ending and we need to buy a new house right now. Otherwise, I'm going to be homeless. The world's ending. So then Ian had to go and try to buy a new house for her, but then he couldn't because he had to sell his house in San Diego first. Otherwise, he wasn't going to be able to do that. So then they had to sell the house in San Diego, then buy, like, their over $1 million house in Seattle the week or two before CC1. Okay. And then for CC2, like, before he was supposed to start training for his fight camp, right? But then they didn't come and train. And then she decided that she was going to have her tits removed, like, during his fight camp.
Oh, that was the second one.
He made a comment recently where he's like, when Anissa's not with me, I don't know what to say. And I'm like, dude,
crazy.
What happened to you? Who are you?
Yeah. She tells him when he's hungry, when he's tired. How's he going to know
That's
those
why
things?
he's definitely in a gimp outfit at home.
Yeah.
She had said that she had actually, I didn't know this, but she had done the Content Cop. She worked on Content Cop with him back in the day. But she's never apologized for the N-word. Only Ian apologized for that. And she was the mastermind behind it.
No, that's a great...
Yeah, it was the craziest thing because Anissa said to me, she's like, Kate, you don't understand. Ian and I both believe that Sam Hyde would really come and find me and would actually murder me. So that's the reason why we have to take all these precautions. And I was just like, are you sure?
I was like, I think the guy's a millionaire. I was like, I don't think he's going to risk his freedom to kill you. But okay.
You yourself were a child bride?
Yes. So I'm a child bride survivor, and at the age of 12, I was put into a child marriage from the time I was 12 until 23. Within my child marriage, I had 2 kids when I was 15 and 17. And this happened in America, okay? And Ian and Nisa are well aware of my story because I've had them at my home. They've seen my kids and everything. And so last year, right, 2024, I learned that there was a House bill in Washington State trying to pass House Bill 1455 to end child marriage. And so when I learned of this bill, I thought to myself, even though it had been 15 years since I escaped my prison, like this is a chance for me to come forward and tell my story. I sent, so Michael and I went to Olympia in Washington. We met with politicians. We lobbied to support the bill. I gave my public testimony to support the bill. And, once I was on Seattle Times and television and everything. And I reached out to Ian and Nisa and I asked them if they could help, share the information because it was really important to me that this bill passed. And they just both left me on red. But guess what? Today, when they saw the highlights on Ian's story that we were going to be on here, Ian and Nisa was texting me and Michael, and they were like,
they ignored us when we were like trying to fight child marriage, but then when they found out,
are they pro child marriage? That's why it makes one. Begs the question. Wait, so how? And if you're uncomfortable talking about this, refrain. But it sounds. How did you get married?
Yeah, one of the people.
That's disturbing. Really disturbing. It's crazy that they're in favor of that.
Yeah, that's why I can't believe that Ian and Nisa wouldn't even respond to me about it when we have been nothing but supporting to them. So that's when I was just like, you know what? This is actually a situation where I really needed their platform to help spread the word that I want to help end child marriage. I'm coming forward with my story. I'm sharing for the first time on public television. I'm testifying to support the bill publicly.
That sounds really important.
Hard, and they just put me on red.
Yeah,
I'm blown away. I'm frankly blown away that this is happening.
Yeah.